Good morning. How are you this morning? Have you thought about it? Have you felt into it? I tend to do that every morning when I wake up. I take a really slow few breaths, bring myself present. I love the song, I Can See Clearly Now. I can see all obstacles in my way. I don't believe we get to the place where there are no obstacles. I would not wish that. I would call that not learning. But what are the obstacles that I can see? And today I want to talk about being a human and some of the different facets of that I've noticed and been discovering over the course of a lifetime. I remember turning 10, double digits, thinking, okay, I am seriously old now. I am no longer a child. I am officially big. I know about the world. I'm good. This whole life stage mandate where we keep reinventing ourselves over and over and over again. Each time we cross a threshold, there are new things to leave behind, new things to bring forward, new ways of being, endings and beginnings. There's so many flavors of being a human and so many feelings involved in being a human. There's something about happy birthday, Merry Christmas, Happy Valentine's Day. These holidays that are created seem to start with the word happy before them. There's an expectation of happiness. What is it that brings happiness? What is it that brings grief? Can we ride those waves with an open and faithful heart? This place of endings and beginnings. We have so many endings in a course of a lifetime. And as we get older, we recognize the preciousness of the being here. It is these inhales and exhales, this starting over each and every day. This place of having the courage to feel and to begin and to look at, is it happiness we're seeking? What is it? I tend to seek clarity and equilibrium. I look for balance. It's a continual becoming. So today, the talk that seemed to emerge, I put a name to it. It's called Down the Rabbit Hole, What I've Learned About Being a Human. What is it to be a human being, and what are we supposed to do to be happy? I love that, do, to be happy, as opposed to be. What are we taught to believe? And when's the last time we examined these beliefs, these things that we do not normally even know that we believe, so that we can choose or re-choose if those beliefs are no longer serving us? Are there better beliefs to those beliefs that will lead us to greater ease, balance, and the capacity to create beauty? I have reinvented myself many, many, many times throughout the course of my life. I counted in my head the other day, the ones that I remembered off the top of my head, it was 25. A lot of moving and a lot of reinventing. And it was challenging, it was hard, it was painful to leave all the things that are familiar, especially as being a little kid. You leave your world in order to start over. My mother developed this great vocabulary for easing the challenge of change. And every time we would move, she would come with a different, we have great news. We bought you both watches. You and your brother now have a brand new watch. And it was like, we're moving. There was this ending and this beginning. I remember when I was in the summer between age 11 and 12, my mom came and said, "Great news! We're moving, and you'll be able to do anything you want to with your bedroom. You're now old enough to really choose how you want your bedroom to look." And this was back in the late 60s, early 70s, and my brother invited a bunch of friends over to paint graffiti on his wall, which I'm not sure that's what my mom had in mind, but that's what he did. And there was a woman, a young woman who came, and she was an amazing poet. And this is one of the things she wrote in beautiful calligraphy on the wall. "Things are seldom as they seem. Skim milk masquerades as cream. Interiors can portray outsides. Jekylls may be masking hides." So who are you really? I have devoted my life to unlearning all the parts that aren't me. And it really wasn't until I was 60, truly, that I decided that was what I was going to have the courage to be. And to be me in the ways and the things that I had discovered. It's harder to be a human than most anyone will tell you. I'm not quite sure why, but I know that that's true. As a life coach, I can tell you that people come and with great shame or remorse, they talk about human qualities. We need to understand and embrace there is no shame in the full spectrum, painting with all the colors. Some of what I've learned and been led to believe, I think, can make it even harder to be a human. Over the decades of being a transformational coach dedicated to supporting people and being who they truly are, while grappling with some of the suffering that comes with being human, I've learned and heard a lot of beliefs from folks about what theoretically brings success and happiness and allows us to walk that path. Choosing beliefs as opposed to just going along with whatever you were taught takes great courage. Courage is well fed with inspiration, and I am drawing a lot of inspiration in today's spoken words from John O'Donohue, amazing, amazing poet. And it was his words that I read in the invocation. So, with endings, guaranteed there will be a beginning. So, in order to fuel your inspiration, I offer you this poem, For a New Beginning by John O'Donohue. In out-of-the-way places of the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander, this beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you were ready for it to emerge. For a long time it has watched your desire, feeling the emptiness growing inside you, noticing how you willed yourself on, still unable to leave what you had already outgrown. It watched you play with the seduction of safety and the gray promises that sometimes whispered, heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent, wondered, would you always live like this? Then, the delight. When your courage kindled and you stepped out onto new ground, your eyes young again with energy and dream, a path of plenitude opening before you. Though your destination is not yet clear, you can trust the promise of this opening. You can trust the promise of this opening. Unfurl yourself into the grace of beginning. That is at one with your life's desire. Awaken your spirit to adventure. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in risk. Soon you will be home in a new rhythm. For your soul senses the world awaits you. A new beginning starts with an ending, perhaps the ending of old beliefs that no longer serve. I have a theme of beliefs that I would like to banish from the minds. You know, that eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. If I could wipe these beliefs clear, I would do so. They were things I've heard over the course of my life, and I want to just offer to you 5 myths I've discovered about life. Practice makes perfect. Anything worth having is worth working for. If it's to be, it's up to me. Time and tide waits for no one, and no sooner said than done. Here we go. Practice makes perfect. I believe practice makes progress, and chasing perfect makes for inner tension. As a recovering perfectionist, I don't chase perfect anymore. I don't want perfect. I want excellent. And a lot of days, as an act of kindness to myself, I just want enough. Number 2, anything worth having is worth working for. Although there's validity to working towards something, you may not need to work hard. Things can be easier than you think. Growing up with adages like no pain, no gain, elbow grease, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going, and the like, it didn't really occur to me that things could be easy, or even that they were supposed to be easy, or that easy was okay and not just taking the easy way out, I guess. Now I've come to understand, in fact, I think about easy, and I think about how chasing perfect and worshiping hard work and believing that that is nobility can keep you from seeing the things about yourself that are your most important essence. That's the part that comes easy. That's the part that keeps presenting itself again and again. When we work so hard, sometimes we're overlooking our own aptitude. Now I've come to understand that ease, flow, and the lack of tension are all vital parts of the inner yes that lets me know I'm on track. If I'm not breathing easy, I'm not on track. Something else needs to happen. There's a time and a place for effort, yet it's just not wise as a way of life. Number 3, if it's to be, it's up to me. This is a great anthem for self-sufficiency. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for manifesting, goal setting, taking initiative, and knowing when to make something happen. And I have radically changed my thoughts about making things happen to a greater stance of allowing them to happen. A dear friend and fantastic teacher I know, Sandra Boston, who will be speaking here on November 5th, introduced me to a concept called the time spirits that her teacher, Arnold Mandel, taught her. It's the idea that things happen in their own time when they're ready. It's that now that just presents effortlessly. You can't make everything happen even if you work really hard. The time spirits are the unseen magical force that governs the timing of things. They can provide things you didn't expect, didn't work for, didn't even see coming. You can do your part by setting intentions, clarifying what you think needs to happen, problem solving along the way, and asking for guidance and assistance. The time spirits can relieve the burden of thinking you need to make everything happen or do everything yourself. I will never forget what it was like as a single mom to be trying to go into some business that had a door that opened the wrong way, so I had a small child, a baby carriage, diaper bags, shopping lists. I was completely burdened. And I'm struggling to get this door open, and somebody came up behind me and said, "Here, I'll get that." I said, "Nope, I got it." You never did that, did you? So part of the trick here is also to be able to see it, to see the beliefs that we have about working hard and doing everything ourselves. I want you to know that since I've outsourced everything to the time spirits, I'm very, very selective about when I say I'm going to make this happen. But since I've outsourced things, they seem to happen more in their own time frame and with a greater ease and so much less tension. It also allows for open space, which is one of the most magical forces in the universe, unoccupied space. And the importance of being able to have those moments where we simply allow whatever's ready to happen, happen. Time and tide waits for no one. I think this one keeps us moving fast, striving, and in a rush. It can lead to scarcity beliefs about not having enough time. So we speed up, rush, multitask, hold our breath, and push ourselves to do more with less. Hurry up and not waste a minute. My wise friend Randy used to say, "Time will stretch to meet my needs." And it's amazing how things actually seem to shift with this one. I think it's asking for assistance. Balancing speed with taking a breath, slowing down, getting present, and resting for even if it's only 3 breaths in between tasks is a practice that reduces stress and actually accomplishes more in the long run. Another thought from John O'Donohue. I think that if you take time not as a calendar product, but as actually the parent or mother of presence, then you see that in the world of spirit, time behaves different, actually. No sooner said than done. Things take longer than you think, really, and usually. Understanding this concept is a big key to reducing frustration and self-criticism. It's fine to imagine or hope for a time frame, but demanding one can be a setup for futility and disappointment. Building extra time into our expectations allows us to experience a bit of open space within the landscape of our being. It's a great practice to be in the not knowing. I'd like to close with one of my favorite poems, The Invitation by Oriah Mountain Dreamer. For me, it's an invitation into being human, without all the masks, dependent parts, expectations, or old beliefs. It's how I want to be with you, and my invitation to how I would love you to be with me. It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you ache for, and if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. It doesn't interest me how old you are. I want to know if you will risk looking like a fool for love, for your dream, for the adventure of being alive. It doesn't interest me what planets are squaring your moon. I want to know if you have touched the center of your own sorrow, and if you have been opened by life's betrayals, or have become shriveled and closed from fear of further pain. I want to know if you can sit with pain, mine or your own, without moving to hide it, or fade it, or fix it. I want to know if you can be with joy, mine or your own. If you can dance with wildness and let the ecstasy fill you to the tip of your fingers and toes without cautioning us to be careful, be realistic, remember the limitations of being human. It doesn't interest me if the story you are telling me is true. I want to know if you can disappoint another to be true to yourself. If you can bear the accusation of betrayal and not betray your own soul. I want to know if you can see beauty even when it is not pretty every day. And if you can source your own life from beauty's presence. I want to know if you can live with failure, yours and mine, and still stand at the edge of the lake and shout to the silver of the full moon, yes! It doesn't interest me to know where you live or how much money you have. I want to know if you can get up after the night of grief and despair, weary and bruised to the bone, and do what needs to be done to feed the children. It doesn't interest me who you know or how you came to be here. I want to know if you will stand in the center of the fire with me and not shrink back. It doesn't interest me where or what or with whom you have studied. I want to know what sustains you from the inside when all else falls away. I want to know if you can be alone with yourself, and if you truly like the company you keep in those empty moments. May peace be with you. May grace be with you. May light be with you. May spirit